Hi guys. Okay, you've been asking for this recipe, so let's go ahead and do it. This is Mom's Soft and Chewy Brownies. Now the first thing I want you to do is preheat your oven to 350. Go ahead and get that done, and let's talk about the ingredients that we're going to need to make your brownies. Okay, the first ingredient you're going to need is flour. You're also going to need white sugar, baking cocoa, salt, baking powder, vanilla, 2 sticks of margarine, and 4 eggs. Let's also talk about the tools that we're going to need. You're going to need 1 large mixing bowl. You're going to need your measuring cups and your measuring spoons, also a spatula, a whisk, and then you're going to need a baking pan to put your brownies in. I have the ceramic one. You can also use a metal one. So go ahead and get your stuff together, get your oven heated, and then we'll get started. Okay, so the first step in making the brownies is going to be to melt the butter. So you should have 2 sticks of margarine. I call it butter, but we're using margarine. And what you want to do is slice it into a bowl that you can put into the microwave. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Put it in the microwave for about 40 seconds. Make sure that you cover it so it doesn't splatter the inside of your microwave. Do it 40 seconds and then just keep, doing a little bit more until all the butter is melted. And then what I want you to do is, you see the wrappers that we used that came from the butter? You're going to use that to coat the inside of your pan. This is going to keep your brownies from sticking. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've melted my butter. See, it's in the bottom of the bowl like this, nice and melted. And let's go ahead and get started on our main ingredients. The first thing we're going to add is 2 cups of sugar. So here is 1 and 2. And then I want you to use your whisk, and let's stir that in. So let's all stir it in really well. Okay? And now we're going to add the eggs. With the eggs, we're going to add them one at a time. So crack them nice and neatly on the side, add them, and then whisk them in one at a time until they're all blended in. I want you to go ahead and do that, and then we'll go on to our next step. Okay, so we've mixed in the sugar and the eggs into the batter, and now we're going to mix the rest of our ingredients. First, I want you to take your teaspoon measure and measure in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So here's 1 and 2. Okay, use your whisk, kind of stir those in good. And now we're going to add the cocoa. Now, cocoa can get a little messy, just so you guys are aware, starting, and so just, be careful when you're doing that. So with this, we're going to need 3/4 cups of cocoa. So I'm going to go ahead, and I've got my 1/4 cup, and you remember your math, you're going to measure this out 3 times. So I'm going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to use a table knife to kind of shear off the top so I have 1 there. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So there's the cocoa, 3/4 cups of cocoa, and we're going to use the whisk to kind of whisk that in there, stir that in there just a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the baking powder. Again, remember that you use the baking powder, not the baking soda, and you're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of baking, or yes, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. So here's my 1/2 teaspoon, and there we go. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And then we need the salt. You're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So get your 1/4 teaspoon measure out. Fill that up. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to add our very last ingredient, which is the flour. And we're going to add 1 cup of flour. So I've got my measuring cup out for my flour. I'm going to put it in there. Use my table knife to kind of get the top off so it's nice and clean, and put it in there. Okay, this is when I'm going to use my spatula. And the trick with these kind of brownies is, it's kind of like the cake, if you guys have done the cake, is you don't want to mix it too much. If you mix it too much, then it's going to be flat and it's not going to taste as chewy. So I'm just going to mix it until all of the ingredients are mixed in together, and that's it. I'm not going to go any further. Don't use a hand mixer. Don't use the whisk. Just use your spatula. When you get done, your batter should look a little lumpy. So I'm going to let you do that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so you should have mixed your batter, And it should look something like this. It should have some little lumps in there. Not too many, but a few lumps. This is when you can get creative. You can get some crushed nuts to put in there. You could put in white chocolate chips. You could put in M&Ms, whatever you want to put in there to make this your own. Feel free to throw that in there. It'll taste really yummy. So after you've done that, then you've got your pan that you've greased with the wrapping from the butter. And you're going to go ahead and just pour the batter into your pan, and you're using your spatula now to make sure that you get everything out of the pan. So go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have all the batter poured into my pan, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my oven. Make sure that the temperature is at 350 and set the timer for 35 minutes. At 35 minutes, you're going to put your table knife in there, and if when you pull it out, it comes out clean, you don't see any wet batter, then it's done. If you put it in there and you pull it out and there's wet batter, set the timer for about another 3 minutes and keep doing that until we have the right result that we want. This is also a good time when you've done that to get your kitchen cleaned up. Really important to kind of clean as you go, that way you don't get done and it looks like a tornado has been through your kitchen. So go ahead, get your brownies in the oven, and then we'll be back. Okay, so my oven timer has gone off, so I've taken my pan of brownies out of the oven, and here's what they look like, and I'm going to use my table knife then to poke them in the middle, and you see how that comes out clean? You don't see any wet batter? That means that my brownies have finished baking. I'm going to put them on a baking rack for 10 minutes, or you can use pot holders just to give them a chance to cool, and then you can cut and eat them. What you can also do is make yourself some brownie sundaes. Get some ice cream, vanilla, whatever kind you like, and throw that on there. Throw some Cool Whip, throw some chocolate syrup on there, and really have fun. Okay, guys, I enjoyed making this video. I hope that you guys enjoy eating your brownies, and make sure and let me know how they turn out. I love you, boys, and if you hold on for a minute, we have a special guest for our video. Hold on. Okay, somebody wanted to say hi. Say hi. There you go. There's Murphy. He wants to know when you're coming home on leave. He misses you. Bye, guys. Love you.